Hello, CPTR 328, and anyone else who might be watching this. I have a networking class, and I have students constantly drawing things by hand, taking pictures of it, and then slapping it into their document. And sometimes these are hard to read and whatnot, and I actually require them, and I take points off assignments where they do this. They're computing students and should be able to draw things in computing software. I recommend Inkscape because it is free software and it is not too difficult to use. In fact, it's quite easy. And I'm going to demonstrate today something very simple that I want them to be able to do. And this is a time diagram that we use in networking to show the interaction between a sender and a receiver. And I'm just going to draw a line, and I've grabbed this Bezier tool, and if I hold down the control while I'm drawing this, then it draws a straight line. Now this particular tool also will continue to draw lines, which I don't want to do, so after I've clicked the first time, so I just clicked, I pulled it down, and I clicked again, and then this is freehand, I don't have anything down, and I right click instead of left click, and I'll get this just a straight line. Now if you want to, you can certainly put on here a arrow pointing down, and at this point if I just hit Control D, that will duplicate what I have, and I can then create the two pieces of my time diagram that show my sender and my receiver, etc. And if I go over here and grab this text tool, I can do, sender, and I don't even have to do something different. I can just go over here and receiver. And at this point, again, I'm going to select this Draw Bezier Curves and Straight Lines tool. And if you want to, you can turn on the ability to automatically start at the ends of things. So let me show you how to do that. But I just noticed here I'm scrolling. This is a scroll up and down. If I hold down Shift and scroll, I can do left and right. And if I hold down Control and scroll, then I can do zoom in and zoom out. So that's some real basic stuff. The one thing I wanted to show you was this idea of snapping things, and there's a lot of different things over here that you can enable snapping, which is enabled right now, and I also want to snap to bounding boxes perhaps or whatever, but mostly I'm just going to snap to intersections and to paths, to snap smooth nodes. Ooh, probably don't want to do that. Snap to midpoints and line segments, that's fine. Snap to other points, centers, guides, blah blah blah. So at this point you should be able to see that it is snapping to that end, and as soon as I do that, and I'm also going to hold down Control here, this would be a straight line. This also gives me nice angles to play with too. And you'll notice that it snapped right onto there. And if I want to, I can just end it right there. Again, I can put in, something maybe a little smaller than that. Something smaller? That's a little smaller. I am zoomed way in, so when I zoom out, this will be something like that. So the next thing that I would probably like to show you, although I don't really require this, is to put text along a specific line. And to do that, that's actually quite simple too. To do that, I'm first going to draw some text here. Let me do that. In this case, I have data 0 stuff. Data 0 and acknowledgement 0, etc. If I'm going to do some sort of protocol, and I can just select this and then select this as well by holding down Shift, and clicking, and I can go text, and I can say put text on path. And what's going to happen is it's going to put that right up here at the top. Not a big deal, because if you want to move it around, you can. It's now right there, and it's the right. So you kind of have to take it off the path first, otherwise it'll snap right back to where it started. And now I can put it in the middle where I want, or but it'll be the right slant. I think is what I'm really getting to. And so at this point, I can certainly grab that and create my next acknowledgement. Okay, so I'm going to go down here and again draw some text. This would be AC 0, and again I will hit escape a couple of times, select those two things, and do text, put text on path. Again, this is going to be a kind of a fun one, because it actually is putting it in the wrong place. Whoops, Control Z will take care of that. I don't want it to be mirrored way off like that, okay? So there is a way to take care of that. Let me show you that really quick. Okay, let me back up here a minute, because there's a couple of different ways we can actually take care of this. Certainly one way would be to just, turn it around, okay? And I can do that just by grabbing it, flipping it around, holding down the Control key, and that'll put it in increments that make it exactly what I want. Now that's what I would do, but you can reverse this path if you want to. And the way to do that is to go up on the path menu, and you can actually say reverse. There should be a reverse path on here. I don't use this method very often, so reverse path would be right there. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go ahead and leave it the way it is, because I do want my end down here to have from the right to left, meaning this is the start of the path, this is the end of the path. And because of the way that Inkscape thinks about things, and the way graphic artist thinks about things, that would mean that this area on this side is the outside of the line, and that it would make sense to put the text on the outside. But again, it's just as easy to grab it, hold down Control, and change it. So clearly, if I want to, I can move some things down like this. I can certainly do some additional text if I want to. Kind of a cool thing, if this was going to be a garbled text, I could do, some sort of garbled thing. Oh, that's bad looking. Okay, so one of the things, the reason why it's so bad looking is because it keeps grabbing things I don't want it to. And all I have to do is to go up here and turn the snapping off for just a minute, and I can make some nice, easy, simple, garbled notation here, saying, okay, this is garbled. And if I want to, I can even, I'm going to right click on that, and if I want, I'll go ahead and turn snapping back on. But if I want to at this point, I can actually do several things. I've been playing with fill and stroke here, and by the way, if yours doesn't have that, you can certainly enable that. Going to the object and fill and stroke will turn that on. You can also do object properties or symbols, but these are the things that I think that you need to do really easily, kind of a basic get started kind of video, and this has everything you need. So over here obviously I would have that the receiver ignores ACK. Okay, so don't like where that is? Fine, move it. Don't like where the whole thing is? Fine, move it. Okay. Don't like the fact that Was moving that clear off, but okay. Actually, I don't know why that did that, but that's beside the point. Okay. And then later on we could say, oh, a timeout occurs. Okay. And again, if that runs over, just grab it and move it. It's not that big a deal. And if you want to designate that a timeout is occurring from this point, we can go over. And again, I might have to move some of my stuff. Then I could have timeout occurs here, and we're good to go. All right, so this is about 10 minutes. I didn't want to, 10, 11 minutes. I didn't want to go any longer than that, but I did want to show you how you could do things in Inkscape. We'll see you in class.